All right, CNT120 Chapter 4 Lab. We're now on Part 8 with trace. Now, trace is a command that is useful that shows us the path that data is taking. If I know the path the data should be taking, and I run this test and I see it gets partway and stops, that can give me a clue as to where I want to start troubleshooting. Example, if I'm managing, a network like Hack that has multiple campuses, if I know the path that data should be taking to get from Harrisburg to Lancaster or vice versa, and I try this test and it gets partway and stops, then I might know whether I'm troubleshooting equipment at the Harrisburg site or I'm troubleshooting equipment at the Lancaster site to know where the fault might be. So this is useful to show me the path, and if I'm familiar with the path, it can help me with knowing where I want to start troubleshooting. Well, we're just going to run it just to see what it gives us, but this is something that I'm using, kind of in my back pocket for troubleshooting purposes. Okay, I'm going to just minimize my Linux machine for right now, and I'm going to open up my Windows command prompt, and I'm going to do a trace to Google. Why not? Let's do a trace RT to www.google.com. And we're going to let that run. It's going to take a little bit of time for it to hit the first router and send a response back. Hit the next router, send a response back. Because if you remember in your reading, it actually purposely does a little sneaky thing where it's like it sets the TTL to like 1 and it gets there and expires and gets an error message. Then it sets the TTL to 2, gets 2 routers in, sends an error message back. Then it goes 3 and then 4. So it kind of like piecemeal, like hopscotch, kind of down the road, learns all the steps. Well, while this is running over here, while this is running on the Harrisburg or on the Windows side, I'll pull up my Linux machine over here and I'm going to run traceroute over here. Now, traceroute over here, I'm actually using the full command called traceroute instead of traceRT. Windows is traceRT, Linux is traceroute. We'll do www.google.com. There we go. And now we'll let this run. And these should be similar results. They might show a little differently, but they should be similar results between the two. And here we go. It looks like we had a timeout here. So it looks like we had about 12 steps here, 11 here, but one of them there was a timeout over here. So there it shows me the path it's taking. Boom, 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 boom. And again, if I'm familiar with these steps and what they should be, these can give me an idea of maybe where a fault has occurred or where there's a delay that might be occurring. Okay, and now this is one little snapshot in time, so it would be something I would need to do regularly if I need to know anything about a delay, or I would need to use another tool if I'm really trying to find the source of a delay. Alright, so on my Windows side, I'm going to copy my traceroute results. I will copy those. I'll do right click, go over here. I'm going to do Control C, and on my Windows file I will come over here, and we are now in Part 8, I believe. I think that's where we are now, Part 8, trace, and I'm going to paste that in. There's my trace results on my Windows side. I'm pretty sure we're in Part 8. Yeah, Part 7 was netstat. There we go. There's Part 8 trace. Good deal. So now on the Linux side, I will jump over here and I'll do the same thing. I'm going to highlight that. I'll right-click copy. And then in my Linux file, I will come over here and say Part 8 trace, and I will paste that in and save those updated results. So there's my trace utility. Show me the paths it takes to get from A to B. And again, these are pieces that if I know the path and it stops part way today, I might know that this is a particular piece of equipment that I need to start looking at for troubleshooting purposes. So there's trace.